So last week we were discussing from the first chapter of Canto 6, wherein when Ajamila was about 88 years, after having 10 sons through a maid servant, the 10th son was about 1 year or so. At one fine day, after lunch, while he was resting, while the child was playing next to his bed, while his so-called wife was in somewhere little far away, suddenly the three Yamadutas came on the scene. Looking at them, he became very much fearful, very much afraid, and he began to shout the name of his infant child, Narayana, Narayana. While he was shouting, the Yamadutas threw their Yamapash and trying to drag Ajamila and his subtle body out of his gross body. While they were doing so, suddenly four sisters came on the scene and they told, they are rumbling with rumbling voice, they actually ordered, if at all you wish to live anymore, stop there. Don't proceed further. Don't take Ajamila out of his body. So they stopped. They asked, who are you, gentlemen? Looking very nice, but your activities are not nice. Why are you stopping? So then Visnu asked, who are you? And we are the servants of Yamaraj. Dharma Palasya Kinkara. We are the servants of Yamaraj, and Yamaraj ordered us to get him. And how can you stop us? So then Visnu asked, okay, if you are the servants of Yamaraj, if you are the servants of Dharma Pala, the follower, the protector of Dharma, please tell me what do you mean by Dharma? And please tell me what do you mean by Adharma? And what is the reason for punishment? And how the punishment is administered? And who are all punished? Is everyone punished? Or only some among the humans are punished? Like that, they asked 6 questions. And in the last class, we saw that Yamadutas very systematically answered all these 6 questions. For Dharma, they say that Veda Pranihito Dharma. Whatever has been said in the Vedas, if somebody follows, that is called Dharma. Adharmasya Tadvipariya. So those who don't follow the Vedas, those who do in a different way. So then, why we need to follow Vedas? Well, then they say that Vedo Narayana Sakshat. Swayambhur Sistema. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. Vedas are Narayana himself. And Narayana is Swayambhu, the self-born Lord. And we have heard it from our master, Yamaraj. So the Supreme Lord who stays in his own spiritual abode, but he himself created this material world, 3 modes, Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. In order to guide all of us, he has given us the Vedic literatures, which talk about what to do, what not to do, etc. As we study in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnam Maya system, Gunakarma Vibhagaha. It is the Lord who created the Varna system, following which all of us will not be bound in this material world. That is there. Then in the 16th chapter, it is said, yes, Shastra Vidhi Mustrujya Vartate Kamakarata, Nasisiddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgatim. Those who give up the Shastric injunctions and perform activity just to fulfill their material desires, Kamakarata. Nasisiddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgatim. They are not able to get perfection in their activities in this life. They are not able to get sukha, and they are not able to go back home back to Godhead. Tasma Shastra Pramanante Karya Karya Vesto. Therefore, one should accept Shastra as the Pramana, because Shastra talks about Karya and Akarya. What can be done, what should be done, what should not be done. Jnatva Shastra Vidanoktam Karma Kartum Yaharasi. For everyone who are staying in this material world, especially in Bharata Varsha, Iha stands for Bharata Varsha. Those who are living in Bharata Varsha, the first and foremost duty is they should know Shastra Vidanoktam. The Vidhi Vidhan that has been mentioned in the Shastra, they should know and then perform karma. Karma kartum iha arahasi. The first and most important qualification for a person who is living in Bharata Varsha to be called a human being is they should know Shastra and they should perform activities as per the details given in Shastra. That is what is expected. That is what your Yamadutas are saying. Shastras are given by Lord. The Lord is the creator of this world with three modes. And those who follow Shastra, they are performing Dharma. Those who don't follow Shastra, they are not performing Dharma. Then
Hare
how do you know
Krishna,
that somebody...
now your voice is swaying. Sometimes it is audible, sometimes it just goes off.
Okay, thank you. Just give me 1 minute. I'll just add. Hare Krishna. Now my voice is clear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you. So here now there may be a question. So how do you know that somebody is doing dharma or dharma? What is the procedure? Then Yamaduta says that there are 13 witnesses: Surya, Agni, Kham, Marud, Deva, Soma, Sandhya, Ahani, Disha, Kam, Ku, Swayam, Dharma. All these things. Lord Narayan as the sun, fire, sky, air, devatas, moon, evening, daytime, nighttime, directions, water, land, and Yamaraja himself, along with the Paramatma. All these are different witnesses. They know, they record whether what kind of dharmas we are doing, what kind of adharmic activities we are doing. So, with the witness, with the statement given by all these witnesses, what kind of person we are, that will be declared, and accordingly, the punishment is awarded. And by nature, anyone who is born in this Bharata Varsha, because this place is filled with three modes of material nature, by default one performs sinful activities. There is no one we can say that is only performing dharmic activities, never performs adharmic activities. It is not possible. Just because one is in this material world, one has to perform activities in three modes, knowingly or unknowingly. Small or big, it does not matter. But one will perform both the activities, pious as well as impious. Thus, in one sense, everyone is subjected to punishment. So that's how the Yamadutas are declaring, in one sense, all human beings are subjected to punishment. Because knowingly or unknowingly, just because one is there in this material world, especially in Bharatavarsha, which is endowed with three modes, one will perform sometimes activities in the mode of ignorance, which can be called as adharmic activities. So activity may be very small, small punishment will be given. So in that way, it is said that the Yamaduta said that almost everyone is subjected to punishment. And after the punishment in Yamaloka, according to the level of one's dharmic and adharmic activities, one will be given the next birth. So that is called the cycle of transmigration. So one at one level one gets punishment in the Yamaloka, at other level one will also get punishment in the next life for the sin one has committed. So one will take birth again in this material world and experiences based on what kind of activities one has performed. If one performed pious activities, one experiences happiness with prosperity. If one had performed impious activities, one experiences misery with poverty, etc. So, so how do I know that based on my current status, how do I evaluate that I have performed pious or sin in the past? He says they say very simple. Just see the people in front of you. When you see the people in front of you, you can see them in three categories. Some of them are in goodness, some of them are in passion, some of them are in ignorance. Or some of them are happy, some of them are miserable, some of them are in between. They are neither completely happy nor completely miserable, but in between. So just like you see people in front of you in three different ways, similarly, based on the activity, based on your current status, where you fall in,
whether you are in happy state or miserable state or in the middle state, you can understand that in the past what kind of person you were, and the future what kind of person you will be going to be. Based on our kind of inclination to perform what kind of activities, it is nothing but due to our past samskaras, the same thing will carry forward to our next life. So that's how we can actually evaluate ourselves, who we were in the past and who we are going to be in the future. So in that way. Thus, Yamaraja, like a Paramatma, since he has direct connection with the Paramatma, though he situated himself in Yamaloka, he will get to know about everything about every living entity. Since he knows everything about all of us, he is the best person, is the right person to perform, to award the necessary punishment, etc. So then one may say that no, but I don't know whether I have performed pious or sinful activities in the past. Why I'm getting so much misery now? Then they say that, yeah, you don't know because you are like animal. At the time of birth, while in the womb, we remember everything, but as soon as we come out of the womb, we forget everything. The animal which is there with us, it forgets immediately. When the animal does something, after some time it forgets what it has done. When animal does some, it enters into somebody else's field and then that person beats. After some time, the animal forgets that. Again goes to the same place. It does not remember that if I go to that place, that person will beat me. That knowledge, it won't keep with it. So like that, we also, when we enter into a new body, we forget everything about our past body. Thus, we do not know what kind of past lives we were in and what kind of future birth we are going to get. But it will happen under the supervision of Yamaraj with the help of the 13 witnesses. The Pancha Mahabhutas, daytime, nighttime, morning Sandhya, evening Sandhya, and sun, moon, fire, the 8 directions, so and Yamaraja. All these things will notice what we are doing always. So this is how the Yamadutas are responding, and they are going to respond further more philosophically. And we have stopped there at shloka number 49, and today we'll continue from shloka number 50 onwards. So here in 50th verse, they say that Panchabhi kurute swartan
Panchabhi kurute swarthan
Panchavedata Panchabhihi
Panchavedatha Panchabhihi
Ekastu Shodashena Trin
Ekastu Shodashena Trin
Swayam Saptadashoshnute.
Swayam Saptadashoshnute. Above the 5 senses of perception, the 5 working senses, and the 5 objects of the senses is the mind, which is the 16th element. Above the mind is the 17th element, the soul, the living being himself, who in cooperation with the other 16 enjoys the material world alone. The living being enjoys 3 kinds of situations, namely happy, distressful, and mixed.
Yeah. Now they are entering into a little bit philosophical. They say that by the 5 action senses, the jiva attains desired objects. So we always want to have something. We get it by executing activity with the help of our 5 action senses. When we perform some activity, we get whatever we want. That is normal, we can understand. By the 5 knowledge senses, the jiva knows the 5 sense objects. With the help of our 5 knowledge acquiring senses, we experience the 5 sense objects. We understand what are these 5 sense objects. So by sound, by touch, by form, or we can say by hearing, by touching, by seeing, by tasting, and by smelling, we understand what is what that is there in front of us. And then using the 16th item known as the mind, the 16th item is by knowledge senses, the jiva knows the 5 sense objects. Using the 16th item known as the mind, the 17th item known as the jiva enjoys the objects of the knowledge senses, action senses, and mind. So total how many? 15 ho gaya. 5 action senses, 5 knowledge senses, and 5 sense objects. 15 ho gaya. The 16th one is mind. The jiva is the 17th one. The 17th jiva, with the help of the 16th, the mind, will be able to enjoy the objects of the knowledge senses, the 5 tanmatras, and will be able to enjoy the objects of the action senses. Whatever activities one performs, whatever results one gets out of the activities, one enjoys, and also the object of the mind. What is the object of the mind? When we make a plan, when we express a desire, when the desire is fulfilled, the object of mind is attained. It's like that. By the 5 action senses, one attains one's desired objects. By the 5 knowledge senses, one experiences the enjoyment of the 5 sense objects, such as sound, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, all these things. And the 16th sense, the mind, the jiva, the 17th one, enjoy the 3 objects. What are the 3 objects? The objects of the knowledge senses, the objects of the karma action senses, and the objects of the mind. So this is the process. So how does our body functions? So in a way, the Yamadutas are briefly mentioning. We have Jnanendriyas, we have Karmendriyas, we have the mind. The jiva enjoys, with the help of the mind, the objects of the Jnanendriyas, the objects of the Karmendriyas, and the objects of the mind and intelligence. So this is how the life is all about in this material world. So briefly, they say, so while trying to experience the objects of the action senses, knowledge senses, and the mind, sometimes we tend to perform sinful activities, sometimes we tend to perform pious activities. That's where our problem is all. So in that way, they are trying to establish why things are happening the way they are happening in this material world.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah.
Prabhuji, we don't consider buddhi and false ego in this because generally.
No, they are all there. See, basically, see, in 11th canto it is there. It is not that only when we have to consider. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna says only 8 elements. Bhumi Rapo Nala Vayu Kamana Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Mityan Binna Prakriti Ashtada. So there are different ways of analyzing the 24 elements. The Sankhya, different way they analyze. When you say mind, the mind ke saath intelligence is there, Ahankara is there. They are always there together, but only one element is told.
Oh, okay.
So in that way.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, the 3 modes of material nature, they act on the jivas only on Bhumandal, or they are active on jivas in the upper planetary systems also?
See, they act everywhere. Their influence is there everywhere. But since we are all human beings, we are living in Bharatavarsha as a small part of Bhumandala, the Shastra mainly addresses us. All the instructions of Shastra primarily are meant for us.
Okay.
So they mostly talk about the situation here than other places.
The people in the jivas in the upper planetary systems, they are mostly in the mode of goodness. And the lower planetary in passion and ignorance, mostly.
No, they are in the ignorance. Lower planets, they are mostly in ignorance. The middle, like us, in passion, and upper planets are in goodness.
Okay, thank you.
So everywhere the influence is there, but since we are here, Shastra mainly talks about what is happening here than other places.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll continue. Tadetat shodashakalam.
Tadetat shodashakalam.
Lingam shaktitrayam mahat.
Lingam shaktitrayam mahat.
Datte anusamsmritim pumshi.
Datte anusamsrutim pumsi.
Harsha shoka bhayadritam. Bhayartidam.
Harsha shoka bhayatidam. The subtle body is endowed with 16 parts, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the 5 working senses, the 5 objects of sense gratification, and the mind. The subtle body is an effect of the 3 modes of material nature. It is composed of insurmountably strong desires, and therefore it causes the living entity to transmigrate from one body to another in human life, animal life, and life as a demigod. When the living
Yeah.
entity gets the body of a demigod, he is certainly very jubilant. When he gets the body, a human body, he is always in lamentation. And when he gets the body of an animal, he is always afraid. In all conditions, however, he is actually miserable. His miserable condition is called samsriti or transmigration in material life.
Yeah. So in the previous verse, the Yamaduta said that a jiva, with the help of the mind, he tries to experience. So with the help of the mind, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, tries to experience the objects of the jnanendriyas, the objects of the karmendriyas, and the objects of mind. So then what? So what? Let him experience. Now what is the problem? So now they say the subtle body of the jiva, the effect of the three gunas, composed of the 10 senses. Our subtle body is made up of 10 senses, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and 5 sense objects, and the mind. So it is said that our subtle body is made up of Shodasha Kalam Lingam, 16 parts. 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Tanmatras, and the mind. So within the mind, we can also include the intelligence and Ahankara. But here, mind only is told. It produces repeated and unavoidable birth, which gives joy, sorrow, fear, and pain to the jiva. So when we perform, while experiencing these objects of the karmendriya, jnanendriyas, and mind, we perform sometimes pious activities. In order to experience them, we perform pious activities. As a result of that, we experience joy. Sometimes we perform mixed activities, dharmic and adharmic. Then we experience sorrow and fear. And sometimes we perform activities in the mode of ignorance, adharmic activities. As a result, we experience pain. So like that. Shakti Trayam means the effect of the three gunas. The subtle body of the jiva produces repeated birth, hard to avoid for the jiva. So, because the only thing that we are doing here is we are employing our senses, the jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and mind in order to obtain the objects of the senses. The results of our active karmendriyas activities, the 5 tanmatras, and the desire of the mind. So, in doing so, sometimes we are we want to we will follow the shastric injunctions. Sometimes we transgress shastric injunctions. Sometimes we try to follow and little bit avoid, little bit follow. As a result, we get while experiencing the sense objects. Sometimes we get joy. Sometimes we get sorrow. Sometimes we get fear. Sometimes we get pain. So like that. This is what is happening in this material world. Like that they say. So indirectly they are saying that this Ajamila performed all the sinful activity. That's why he is fearful now, and eventually supposed to get pain. His activities are like that. So that is the principle. This is the principle. This is the law which governs this material world. Like that they are saying. Then they continue. Dehi ajno jishadvargo
Hare Krishna. Dehi ajno ajita sadvargo
nechan karmani karyate
nechan karmani karyate
koshakara ivatmanam
koshakara ivatmanam
karmana chadyamuyati.
karmana chatya muhyati. Translation: the foolish embodied living entity, inept at controlling his senses and mind, is forced to act according to the influence of the modes of material nature against his desires. He is like a silkworm that uses its own saliva to create a cocoon and then become trapped in it with no possibility of getting out. The living entity traps himself in a network of his own fruitive activities and then can find no way to release himself. Thus, he is always bewildered and repeatedly and repeatedly he dies. Hare Krishna.
The ignorant jiva, the foolish jiva, unable to control his mind and senses. Because these are the 11 things which are working always, which always wanted something in return. So unable to control the mind and jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, though not desiring to do so, is made to perform activities, and covering himself with actions becomes bewildered and does not know how to get out. Just like a silkworm covers himself with a cocoon. So that is what happens. We have performed activities and we are supposed to get the results. And we cannot say that, no, I do not know about these things, this kind of results are going to come when I perform those activities. So please don't, I don't know, so that's why you should not give me, not like that. When we perform, we are entitled to get the results. We cannot say that I do not know, something like that. Though sometimes the jiva does not want to do activities, he is forced to do so by the subtle body. Then he becomes bewildered like a silkworm and does not know how to get out of the tangle. This is how one is bound in this material world. So in the Bhagavad Gita, if you see, Arjuna asks in the 3rd chapter, Papam charati purusha, anichanapi varshneya, baladiva niyojasi. Why people are performing papa, sinful activities? I mean, actually, I think that baladiva niyojasi, somebody up from top forcing them, even though anichanapi, even though they don't want to perform papa, but they are forced to perform papa. Why? Why it is so like that? Then Lord Krishna answers, Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samdva. The reason is Kama and Krodha. The one may say that, I mean, they can stop performing activities only, na? When we perform activities, sometimes we are forced to perform sinful activities. Then if we don't perform any activity only, then no papa only. One may say like that. So for which the Yamaduta say that, Nahi kasyit kshanamapi.
Nahi kaschit kshanamapi
Jatu tishtati akarmakrit.
jato tishtati akarmakrit
Karyate hi avasha karma.
karyate hi avashah karma
Gunai swabhavakair balat.
gunair swabhavikair balat. Not a single living entity can remain unengaged for even for a moment. One must act by his natural tendency according to the 3 modes of material nature, because this natural tendency forcibly makes him work in a particular way.
This is the Bhagavad Gita shloka, same as it is. It was there in 3.5. Not even for a moment can the jiva remain without performing actions. He is forced to act beyond his control by the 3 gunas arising from previous impressions. We have already acquired a particular kind of samskara based on the activity that we have performed in our previous lives. So we are forced to respond based on the inputs that are there in front of us. We cannot say no. Because we have already acquired a particular nature, we have already developed a particular personality. Based on the stimuli that is there in front of us, we immediately respond accordingly. So it is like that. Swabhavikai means arising from previous impressions. So Bhagavad Gita, the shloka is like this. Nai kashtis kyanamapi jatishtat akarmakrit. Karetehi avasha karma. Sarva prakriti jair gunai swabhavikair balat. Only this one particular pada is different, but otherwise everything is same. So even the previous shloka is also same, and this shloka is also same as Bhagavad Gita, because philosophy is everywhere same. So in that way, so Yamadutas are repeating in one sense Bhagavad Gita shlokas as it is verbatim. So here actually we can actually understand one thing. In Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, we hear that Imam Vivashvati Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivashvan Manave Praha Manurikshvakvi Abravit. I have spoken the same Bhagavad Gita long back to Vivashvan, the sun god. And sun god spoke to Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, not Swayambhuva, Vaivashvata Manu. And Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku, like that. And sun god also might have spoken to other sons. So sun god's other son is Yamaraj. The sun god spoke in the same Bhagavad Gita to Yamaraj, and Yamaraj also spoke the same Bhagavad Gita to our Yamadutas, and Yamadutas are repeating same thing. So may not be complete Bhagavad Gita, but that portion is required for the Yamaduta. That much he must have told, and Yamadutas have memorized and repeated as it is. So like that, you can see connection to Bhagavad Gita. So now, in two more slokas, they kind of conclude their philosophy, their philosophical understanding of why things are happening the way they are happening in this material world, and why somebody is not somebody, everyone is subjected to punishment. So they say, now they say, Labdva nimittam avyaktam
Labdva nimittam avyaktam
vyakta vyaktam bhavati uta
vyakta vyaktam bhavatyuta
yata yoni yata bijam
yatha yoni yatha bijam
svabhavena baliyasa.
swabhavena baliyasa. The fruitive activities a living being performs, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desire. This unseen cause is the root for the living entity's different bodies. Because of his intense desire, the living entity takes birth in a particular family and receives a body which is either like that of his mother or like that of his father. The gross and subtle bodies are created according to his desire.
Yeah. How one gets a kind of birth that is indicated here. The grass and subtle bodies, sometimes similar to the mother and sometimes similar to the father, appear with a particular nature according to the jiva's karmas. So based on our previous karmas, we acquire a particular nature, particular swabhava, and also we acquire a particular grass body. The grass body, sometimes it is similar to the mother, sometimes it is similar to the father. That similar to mother means girl, similar to father means boy. So in that way, having attained the cause is reactions of karma, the gross and subtle bodies appear according to one's karma. The body is sometimes similar to the mother, that is girl, and sometimes similar to the father, that is boy, endowed with a particular nature such as violence or gentleness. So sabhava, because based on our previous samskaras, we have already developed a particular nature, particular personality traits. So some people are peaceful, gentle, and some people are arrogant and violent. That no one can change. That is a result of the life activities of millions of lifetimes. So with that, one takes birth and one comes into this material world after entering into the womb of a mother. So
And
then what? Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, the genetic coding must be having some connection with whatever has been said now, because genetic coding also has a lot of implications on how the gross body will look. At the same time, how the particular type of proneness to particular diseases or certain things, that also a lot of coding is there in the gene.
So that's what here simply it is mentioned as karma. The karma, the one word karma will be answer to all other all questions that we have. The physical appearance, the physical status, the disease status, and all these things are there. And the mental condition, the personality trait is due to swabhava. Our swabhava determines our personal trait. Our karma dictates our personal conditioning.
Yeah.
And
And
our external body sometimes is similar to the mother, sometimes similar to father. Yata yoni or yata bijam.
yeah, because in genetics, they say that whichever genes is strong, either mothers or fathers, accordingly the child or the offspring will develop particular kind of like
Now the question
idea.
comes. Why at some point of time mother's genes are strong, why at some point of time father's genes are strong? What determines that?
That
Is
particular
it
offspring, that jiva's karma will decide now which one will be.
that's what. One's karma only decides all these things.
Yeah. And Prabhuji, like one more thing I was thinking, that always, like last time also we discussed in that shloka, that your present condition of the jiva tells a lot about what was his past life, and
Hmm.
it also gives the glimpses about what will be his future life.
One's future,
So
yes.
so when there will be break in this, in that sense, then, because somebody may have a lot of rajoguna in the past and was very active in particular way, and so he takes birth in the rajoguna in this life also, and will be continuing running around and whatever thing like that. So it will continue in his future life also. So when there will be break in this, because otherwise these are straight lines like this ना, जो तमोगुण में है फिर वापस ये जन्म में भी तमोगुण में, आगे भी तमोगुण में रहेगा, like that, then how the break will come in that line of.
See, there are always two things are there. Some part of our life's activities, some of our choices are enforced upon us. We already made up our mindset. Accordingly, we select sometimes. And sometimes we are influenced by our surroundings, either the objects or the people. So there is always a combination of these two things. Sometimes we are forced by our past karmas or past samskaras, and sometimes we are inspired by our surroundings, which include the objects and people. So
Okay.
it is always there.
That means those jiva who are running maybe for the last 3-4 life cycles in, for example, in Tamoguna. So if that particular jiva, by whatever his sukruti, whenever he has acquired, it comes in contact with the devotees or comes in contact with the devotional activities, then there is a break in that tamoguna lines which are running through his different life cycles.
Yeah, and it is like slow change which will take place. It's for
Yeah,
example, a person is traveling on a vehicle, like for example a bus or for whatever, a big vehicle is there. It is traveling at a fixed speed. When you add more weight onto it, the speed will reduce. Or when we remove some luggage from the vehicle, the speed will increase. So it's like that. When one is constantly fixed on one thought process, one will remain there only. But when one starts adding other thought process from other people, so one may either go to the right side or one may go to left side. So it is always there.
okay, okay, fine.
So that is what now this last concluding verse they say that. Oh, so what is the way out? The same way you asked, the same question one may ask, what is the way out? So now the Yamadutas give the solution. एष प्रकृति संगेन
Hare Krishna. Esha prakriti sangena
पुरुषस्य विपर्ययः
purushasya viparyaha
आसीत् स एव न चिरात्
ashitsa eva nachirat
ईश संगाद् विलीयते.
isha sangad viliyate. Translation: since the living entity is associated with material nature, he is in an awkward position, but if in the human form of life, he is taught how to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, this position can be overcome. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, constitutionally the jiva is supposed to be in Sachidananda Swarupa, in one's constitutional position which is full of eternity, knowledge and bliss. But unfortunately, when jiva comes to this material world, under the influence of three modes, one had acquired a kind of sabhava and one is bound by a kind of karma, the powerful karma, baliyasa. So how one can come out of this karma and sabhava? How it is possible? The solution they are giving that this contrary position of the jiva has existed by association with prakriti. A jiva is being bound in this material world by acquiring a particular swabhava and by accumulating a kind of karma because one has taken shelter of three modes. One has come under the shelter of three modes of material nature. Similarly, that condition is quickly destroyed by associating with the Lord. But when one comes to the association of Isha Sangha, the association of the Supreme Lord, or the association of the devotees who are completely surrendered to Supreme Lord, one is no more bound in this material world. So this is the solution. The Yamadutas are telling this. By association with Prakriti, one is in bondage. And by association with the Lord, one becomes liberated. The same thing is mentioned in the 3rd canto, 25th chapter. Lord Kapila was speaking to Mother Devahuti. Cheta kalu asya bandaya muktaye chatmano matam. Guneshu saktam bandaya ratam va pumshi muktaye. When we are attracted to gunas, 3 modes of material nature, we are bound. When we are attracted to Pumshi, the Supreme Lord, we are liberated. That's all. So we have multiple choice options now. 3 modes on the right side or on the left side, and the Supreme Lord on the right side. So we have to tick out of the 2, 1 out of the 2. So based on that, if we tick 3 modes, we are bound. If we tick Isha Sangha, we are liberated. So this is what the Yamadutas have understood from Yamaraj. What they have stated in that nothing is wrong, everything is philosophical, and everything is as good as Bhagavad Gita. Everything is right. And after stating the philosophy, now they are going, this is the philosophy. So whoever fits in, they will be rewarded accordingly. And Ajamila, now we will just tell you about Ajamila. So why we are trying to take Ajamila? Because what he has done, for what kind of sinful activities he has done, so he is subjected to punishment, and we are taking him. So they are trying to justify their act. Now next, the remaining chapter is all about the life of Ajamila. So till now, any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. We were discussing about those jivas, they first go to Yamaraj and then they are awarded some punishment over there, and then they take particular kind of a birth to pass through the remaining kind of punishment or whatever. So, like, is there any distinction, Prabhuji, like how who exactly goes to Yamapuri and how much amount of problems or how much amount of sins have to be, taken punishment in Yamapuri on hells, and then whatever remaining is there, that will be done in the next births. Because it is here also we are saying now in case of Ajamila that if someone takes the name of the Lord even once, it is said that he will not have to see the Yamapuri anytime. So, and still there are so many jivas who are going to Yamapuri. That means there are people who have never taken Lord's name in their lifetime like that.
I mean, I don't know all these things right now. We don't discuss. We'll see in the second chapter what kind of understanding is given about them. But whatever it is, in one sense, according to 3rd chapter, except those people who sincerely take bhakti seriously, all others are subjected to go to Yamaloka. It is Yamaraja, I will tell. Okay, my dear friend, in your entire lifespan of 60, 70, 80 years, you have performed this many pious activities, this many impious activities. For this many pious activities, you get this so and so results. And this many impious activities, you are supposed to go through so and so punishment and so lifetimes. So what do you want first? Yamaraja there also gives freedom to choose what we want to experience first. So that is the general procedure.
Oh, okay.
So philosophical understanding of that, who will go and how much amount, all these things, the exact details we don't know. We don't have to know also all these things. It will happen by karma, all these things. So one should understand the principle and then move on with the principle. The details vary from individual to individual. We cannot pinpoint the details.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Other devotees, anyone has any questions?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So now the Ajamila, the Yamadutas will speak about Ajamila. Having spoken the nature of dharma and adharma, the servants of Yama now illustrate adharma by showing how Ajamila is fit to be punished. First, in 2 verses, they speak of his righteous nature in order to show how his sinful nature was not suitable. So, in his young age, Ajamila was very nice boy, nice person, gentleman, was a completely dharmic person, fully in the mode of goodness. But that kind of person, fully in the mode of goodness, had become completely opposite. So, obviously, he will be punished. That's how the Yamadutas are saying now. Ayam me Shruta Sampanna
Ayam hi Shruta Sampanna
Shila Vritta Gunalayaha
Shila Vritta Gunalayah
Dhrita Vrato Mrudurdanta
Dhrita Vrato Mrudurdantah
Satyavan Mantra Vishuchi
Satyavan Mantra Vichruchi
Guru Agni Atiti Vruddhanam
Guruvagni Atithi Vruddhanam
Sushrushur Anahankritaha
Shushrushur Anahankritaha
Sarvabhuta Suhrusadur
Sarvabhuta Surit Sadhur
Mitavag Anasuyaka.
Mitavag Anasuyakaha. In the beginning, this Brahmana named Ajamil studied all the Vedic literatures. He was a reservoir of good character, good conduct, and good qualities. Firmly established in executing all the Vedic injunctions, he was very mild and gentle, and he kept his mind and senses under control. Furthermore, he was always truthful. He knew how to chant the Vedic mantras, and he was also very pure. Ajamil was very respectful to his spiritual master, the fire god, guests, and the elderly members of his household. Indeed, he was free from false prestige. He was upright, benevolent to all living entities, and well behaved. He would never speak nonsense or envy anyone.
Yeah, Ajamila's childhood and youthful lifestyle. Ajamila was well versed in the Vedas. Ahami Shruta Sampanna. He studied all the Vedas because a Brahmana boy. He was a reservoir of good character, good conduct, and good qualities. Sheela Vritta Gunalaya. He is endowed with good character, good Sheela, and good conduct, good Vritti, and good qualities. And then firmly established in executing all Vedic injunctions. Dhritabhrato, he was able to perform his Varna duties and Ashrama duties perfectly. Furthermore, he was always truthful. Satyavan knew how to chant the Vedic mantras. Mantra with Suchihi. Mantra with. He know how to pronounce the Vedic mantras. And he was completely pure. Suchihi, completely pure. Okay. Ajamila was respectable to his guru, the fire god, guests, and the elderly members in his family. That means every day morning he would go to Gurukul, study and nicely and respect all the gurus and all the elders. And every day he would perform Agni Hotra sacrifice because being a Brahmanas perform Agnya every day morning. And whole day the fire would be running in their home. And whoever Atiti comes to their home, he would serve them very nicely. And he would always respect the elderly people. Vruddhanam, he had complete respect for the elders. Sushushur, and he would always serve them. Sushusha. Anahankrita, without any false pride. In that way. He was free from false pride. He was upright and benevolent to all living entities. Sarva Bhuta Surut. He was the well-wisher of all the living entities and well behaved. He was a sadhu. Controlled in speech, mitavak. He would speak as much as required. Anasuyaka. And he had no hatred for anybody. So these are all wonderful qualities of a Brahmanical boy or any gentleman. He is endowed with all these wonderful qualities. And whoever knew Ajamila that, okay, he, like that one should become, one would say. He is such kind of a person. So since he is such kind of a person and is living in a nice family, his family members are also completely dedicated to Brahmanical activities. His mother, father, his wife, he also had a wife because he was such a wonderful boy. So he was married to a nice, wonderful girl. Sheila means good character, Vritta means proper conduct, and Guna means good qualities like tolerance, etc. So this was the life of Ajamila. He had good parents, good spiritual master, and good wife, and everything is going nicely. Every day would perform yajna, every day would study Vedas, every day would receive guests, every day would take care of the elderly people with all the good qualities, good conduct, and good livelihood he would practice. So that everything is nice. Then what happened? For a nice, such wonderful boy, one day some unexpected thing happened, and that is mentioned in the next verse. Ekada sauvanam yata
एकदा सौवनं याता
पितृसन्देशकृद्विजा
पितृसन्देशकृद्विजा
आदाय तत आवृत्तः
आदाय तत आवृत्तः
फलपुष्पसमित्कुशान्
फलपुष्पसमित्कुशान्
ददर्श कामिनं कञ्चित्
ददर्श कामिनं कञ्चित्
शूद्रं सह भुजीशया
शूद्रं सह भुजीशया
पीत्वा च मधुमैरेयम्
पीत्वा च मधुमयम्
मदागूर्णितनेत्रया
मदाघूर्णितनेत्रया
मत्तया विशलतन्निव्या
मत्तया विश्लथन्निव्या
व्यपेतं निरपत्रपम्
व्यपेतं निरपत्रपम्
क्रीडन्तम् अनुगायन्तम्
क्रीडन्तम् अनुगायन्तम्
असन्तम् अनयान्तिके
हसन्तम् अनयान्तिके. Once this Brahmana Ajamila, following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruits, flowers, and two kinds of grasses called Samit and Kusha. On the way home, he came upon a Shudra, a very lusty fourth-class man, who was shamelessly embracing and kissing a prostitute. The Shudra was smiling, singing, and enjoying as if this were proper behavior. Both the Shudra and the prostitute were drunk. The prostitute's eyes were rolling in intoxication, and her dress had become loose. Such was the condition in which Ajamila saw them.
So, based on the previous two verses, we can understand that Ajamila is from a highly respectable Brahmanical family, and he was completely following all the Brahmanical conduct, and he was the example. And such a person has become into such a person who would never think of in this world. That's why his example comes in the Bhagavatam. So what was the reason for which he transformed himself into such a ideal Brahmanical person to non-ideal person? So that is the condition is mentioned in this verse. So once on one particular day, this Brahmana Ajamila, following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruits, phala, pushpa, samit, kushan. Fruits, flowers, wood, and kusha grass. All these things are required for their daily utility. So he went to forest and he collected them and coming back. On the way home, while returning, nearby he saw a lusty Shudra with a maid servant. Having drunken liquor without fear of others, the Shudra was smiling, singing, and enjoying shamelessly with the woman whose eyes were rolling in intoxication and whose dress had become loose. So Bhujishaya means with a maid servant whom he was enjoying. Maireyam is a kind of liquor made from rice. Madhu means wine. Vyapetam means without fear of others. The Shudra was enjoying with that lady. So basically he saw this and he became attracted to the same lady. It is not that Ajamila became attracted to some other lady. So the lady whom he saw here on the pathway and he became attracted to the same lady because he saw in a different condition. So in that way. That is mentioned in the next two verses.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah.
Prabhuji, as per whatever we discuss, like getting attracted to something like this by a person like Ajamila who was from such a cultured family, there is any role of the past karma also, that there will be a slip or fall like this, or it is purely sensual attraction, senses so much
We don't
controlled?
know, but we don't know that exactly why Ajamila became attracted to him. At least in the Bhagavatam, there is no clarity about that. The other Puranas might talk about it, but Bhagavatam gives a case study. See, Bhagavatam is showing a example of an ideal person. Even such an ideal person can become non-ideal person. So be careful. In this material world, anything can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So instead of justifying that because he had some past karma, that's why it has become, then there is nothing to learn for us.
Yeah, because it is very hard to believe that from such a cultured family and a person who was so much sense controlled for so many years of his life, just suddenly slips to such an extent that he loses all the sense control. Like
Yeah,
that. So,
here by giving such an example, Bhagavatam is trying to establish the glories of bhakti. Couple of verses later, we'll see that is being described.
okay.
In order to glorify bhakti, in order to show the greatness of bhakti, this example of Ajamila is shown here. How and why we'll see a couple of verses later.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
दृष्ट्वा तां कामलिप्तेन
दृष्ट्वा तां कामलिप्तेन
बाहुना परिरम्भिताम्
बाहुना परिरम्भितां
जगामहृच्छयवशम्
जगामहृत्यवसं
सहसैवाविमोहितः.
ससैवाविमोहितः. Translation: The Shudra, his arms decorated with turmeric powder, was embracing the prostitute. When Ajamila saw her, the dormant lusty desires in his heart awakened, and in illusion he fell under their control.
Seeing the woman embraced by the Shudra's arms, decorated with turmeric powder, Ajamila suddenly became bewildered and fell under the control of lust. So, how and why it happened, we don't know, but it happened. And as a result of that, what is going to happen in the future, we are going to study here in the Bhagavatam. Tambayan Atmanatmanam
Stambhayan atmanatmanam
Yava Sattvam Yatashrutam
yavat sattvam yatha shrutam
Nas Nashashaka Samadatum
na shashaka samadhatum
Mano Madana Vepitam.
mano madana vepitam. As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, not even to see a woman. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires. But because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind.
So this verse says that though trying to stop his mind by intelligence, as he had been instructed, using the steadiness in dharma and knowledge that he had, he was not able to control his mind, which was agitated by lust. So here Bhagavatam says that Ajamila was leading a Brahmanical lifestyle. He was performing Brahmanical activities. He was completely adherent to dharmic principles. And with the help of that dharma, he was trying to control his mind, but he failed. And Ajamila is also expert at Shastra. Ayami Shuddha Sampanna and Mantravit. He knows Shastra. He can repeat Shastra, he can explain Shastra, everything is there. But still, that Shastra did not help him control his mind. Dharma stands for karma or karma yoga, and knowledge, jnana or shastra, dharma with, Veda with, and mantra with, and Shruta Sampanna, that stands for jnana. So Ajamila was expert in executing karma yoga as well as expert in executing jnana yoga. But both of them did not come to his rescue. That is what is indicated here. Atmanam means the mind, Sattvam means determination, Shrutam means the knowledge. The Shrutam means Shastra, that is Jnana. He is expert at Jnana and is also expert in executing Dharma. Still, both of them could not come to his rescue. Both of them fail to help him. So this is stated in Bhagavad Gita 3rd canto, 31st chapter, 37th shloka. It says that among the sons of Brahma, among the sons of Brahma, yes, is missing here. There's among the sons of Brahma and their sons and the descendants of those sons, among those who do not worship Narayana, which of them does not have their intelligence destroyed by Maya in the form of a woman? Tas srishta srishteshu kon vakandita dhipuman rishim Narayana mrute yoshinmayeya maya. Tat means the Supreme Lord. Tasrishta means the creation by Lord, Supreme Lord is Brahma. Tasrishta is Lord Brahma, and Brahma Srishti is the Prajapatis, and their Srishti is all of us. All of us and our forefather, the Prajapatis, and their father, Brahma, who is the creation of the Supreme Lord, who will not be subjected to the Maya in the form of woman. Yoshin Mayaya Maya, except those who take shelter of Narayana. Rishim Narayana Rute, except those who completely surrender to Lord Narayana, who will not be attracted by Maya in the form of a woman. Woman means the object of sense gratification. For man it is woman, for woman it is man. So in that way. So that's how it is mentioned in the 3rd canto. The same thing here. So Ajamila was expert executing Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, but still he was not protected. Or we can say he was expert at karma and expert at jnana also, expert in shastra and expert in executing brahmanical activities, but still he was not able to control his mind. Then what happened? Tannimitta smara vyaja
Tannimitta smara vyaja
grahagrasto vichetana
grahagrasto vichetana
tam eva manasa dhyayan
tameva manasa dhyayan
swadharmad viraramaha.
swadharmad viraramaha. In the same way that the sun and moon are eclipsed by a low planet, the Brahmana lost all his good sense. Taking advantage of this situation, he always thought of the prostitute, and within a short time he took her as a servant in his house and abandoned all the regulative principles of a Brahmana.
Becoming possessed because of lust arising from seeing her and losing his memory, he began to meditate on her with his mind and gave up his practice of dharma. So it has become like grahagrasto. Just like the sun and moon are eclipsed by Rahu or Ketu, similarly, just like a person is haunted by a ghost, similarly, Ajamila was haunted by the thoughts of that lady. And he forgot, when a person is haunted, one loses one's identity. Same way, Ajamila also lost his identity. He was completely possessed with the thought of that maid servant. And as a result of that, he gave up his practice of dharma. Swadharma viraramaha. He was a Brahmanical boy and he is no more performing any Brahmanical activities. This is what happened. He was completely haunted by her memories. That's all. He could not protect himself from falling either by jnana and by his steadiness in dharma. By his karma and the jnana, he was not able to protect himself from straying away from his Brahmanical personality. But he attained Vaikuntha after restoring himself by Namabhasa alone. But with Namabhasa alone, he went back home back to Godhead. Now see, there is something called karma, that is Varnashram Dharma. There is something called Jnana, expert at Shastras. There is something called as Namabhasa. That karma and Jnana did not protect him from falling away from his regular duties, regular dharma, being attracted to a woman. But by doing Namabhasa chanting, he went back to Vaikuntha. This shows the inherent strengths of dharma, jnana, and bhakti. So what is the inherent strength of all these three can be understood with the help of this pastime. So this entire pastime is to glorify the potency of bhakti vis-a-vis the potency of karma and jnana. So that's how we have to understand this pastime. So first of all, what happened? He became like a haunted person with her memories, and then as a result of that, he stopped doing all his brahmanical activities. And then what else? Tameva toshayam asa
तामेव तोषयाम आशा
pitre nartena yavata
पित्रेण आर्तेन यावता
ग्राम्यैर्मनोरमै कामै
ग्रामेर्मनोरमे कामे
प्रसीदेता यथा तथा.
प्रसीदेता यथा तथा. Thus Ajamila began spending whatever money he had inherited from his father to satisfy the prostitute with various material presentations so that she could remain pleased with him. He gave up his Brahminical activities to satisfy the prostitute.
Yeah. He satisfied her by his father's money as long as the wealth remained. So before this, between the lines, so Ajamila was haunted by her memories. He stopped performing his Brahminical duties, and immediately he approached her and told her that in my home we need a maid servant. Why don't you come and join our home? And she came to his home. And when she came to his home, in order to impress that maid servant, uh, he began to offer her some gifts. So from where he's getting all the gifts? From his father's wealth. So he tried to attract her attention. So he tried to please her by offering her various gifts which are purchased from his father's wealth. So as long as the wealth of his father remained, he tried to please her. Thus he acted just to please her by offering attractive material objects that she desired. So he would offer the jewelry of his mother. He would offer some Brahmanical paraphernalia that is there in his home, the gold and silver or brass paraphernalia to her to attract her. And he would offer the jewelry of his wife. When the parents would ask him, why are you doing like this? He will throw his parents out of the home. And that will be mentioned in the next two verses. So initially the parents are also in home and wife also in home, and he is utilizing all the wealth of his parents and the jewelry of his wife and mother to please the maid servant. So in that way, as long as the money lasted, he satisfied her. He acted in such a way to please her, just to please her, just to get attraction, just to get her attraction. He was doing everything that is required. So like that. Vipram sabharyam aparaudam
Vipram swabharyam aparaudham
kule mahati lambitam
kule mahati lambitam
visasarja chirat papa
visasarjira visasar visasarjachirat papah
Pairinyapanga viddadhi.
Svairinyapanga. Because his intelligence was pierced by the lustful glance of the prostitute, the victimized Brahmana Ajamil engaged in sinful acts in her association. He even gave up the company of his very beautiful young wife, who came from a very respectable Brahmana family.
His intelligence, pierced by the glance of the prostitute, the sinful man soon gave up his humble wife, a Brahmana's daughter of elevated family given by her father. Previously, Ajamila was like a looked up to personality. He is the person we are looking at. So a nice Brahmanical gentleman offered their dear daughter as a wife to him. But now the condition is entirely different. So he was usurping the wealth of his parents, usurping the wealth of his wife. When they questioned him, he threw them out of the home. Who are you to question me? Get out of my home. Something like that. Lambita means she was given by her father's decision. So in order to be with that maid servant, he threw his parents out of the home because they would question him. Say, what are you doing? This is not proper. This is not expected out of a Brahmin person. So he threw them out. You get lost from my home. Who are you to instruct me? Something like that. So he threw the wife also away. So now he is free. No one there to question him. He can do whatever he wants. So in that way. So he completed his wealth, the wealth of his wife, the jewelry of his wife, the jewelry of his mother, the wealth of his father. Now he's left. When he threw his parents, his wife out of the home, the entire village boycotted him. And he went out of the village and he made his a small hut outside the village. And he was living with this prostitute outside the village. He would not come into the village and he has no occupation to perform. He has no duties to perform, no Brahminical activities to perform. He need wealth now to satisfy this girl, this maid servant, so that he can continue to stay with her. And for that, he started adopting the sinful means. That's what it is mentioned now. Yatastata chopaninye
यतस्ततश्चोपनिन्ये
न्यायतो न्यायतो dhanam
न्यायतो धनम्
babarsh babara ba- babarasya kutumbinya
बभारास्यः कुटुम्बिन्या
kutumbam mandadirayam.
कुटुम्बं मन्दधीरयम्. Although born of a Brahmana family, this rascal, bereft of intelligence because of the prostitute's association, earned money somehow or other, regardless of whether properly or improperly, and used it to maintain the prostitute's sons and daughters.
Bereft of intelligence, he obtained money sometimes by proper means, nyayato, sometimes by improper means, anyayato, and maintained the woman's family members. It is mentioned that Babara Asya Kutumbinya Kutumbam, the family of the Kutumbini, the family of the maid servant. Like last class we discussed that though the 10 sons were there, but it is not sure whether all the 10 sons are born because of Ajamila or somebody else. That's why Bhagavatam clearly says that he was maintaining her children, not his children, her children. So in that way. So now, finally, because now here they stated that Ajamila lost his Brahmanical conduct and he usurped the wealth of his parents and his wife. He threw his parents away and his wife also away, and he also taken up anyaya, improper activities, in order to maintain her family. And then what else? Finally, like culmination of all his sinful activities. Yad asau shastram ullangya
यदा सो शास्त्रम् उल्लङ्घ्य
स्वैराचारी अतिगर्हितः
स्वैरचारी अतिगर्हिता
अवर्तता चिरं कालम्
अवर्तता चिरं कालम्
अगायुरसुचिर्मलात्.
अघायुरसुचिर्मलात्. Translation: This Brahmana irresponsibly spent his long lifetime transgressing all the rules and regulations of the Holy Scripture, living extravagantly and eating food prepared by a prostitute. Therefore, he is full of sins. He is unclean and is addicted to forbidden activities.
Transgressing the scriptures, acting irresponsibly, condemned for his behavior, leading a sinful life, and impure because of eating a remnants of food. He passed a long time. See all these things. These are all things because of which we are trying to punish him. That's what Yamaduta is justifying their act. Transgressing the scriptures, Shastram Ullangya, acting irresponsibly, Pairachari. He was supposed to take care of his parents, his wife. He gave them up. condemned for his behavior. He was a Brahmanical person. He cannot be like this, living with a prostitute outside the village. And Avarata Chiram Kalam. And he did not stay with her maybe for 1 month or 1 year. He spent a long time. We can say that maybe at the age of 25, he became attracted to her. And now he is 88 years old. So 88 minus 25. Almost 63 years he was living with her. Such a long time. In all these years, he was eating her remnants. So when he would go out and get money, sometimes by proper or sometimes by improper means, and she would prepare, and first she would eat herself, or first she would feed her children, and then she would eat herself, and then whatever is left over, that will be given to Ajamila. So that's how we can say that he was eating her food remnants. His whole life was sin, or he lived for sinning. He was contaminated by eating her remnant. Asuchi Mala. So like that. He was supposed to lead his life as a Brahmana, but now he has become completely no one casteless. So like that Yamaduta was saying. And the last verse of this chapter, the Yamaduta says that that's why we want to punish him. That's why we want to take him to Yamaraj so that he will get appropriate punishment for his purification. Tata enam dandapane
Tata enam dandapani
sakasham kritakilbisham
sakasham kritakilbisham
nishamo kritanirvesham
neshamu krita nirvesham
yatra dandena shudyati.
yatra dandena shuddhyati. This man Ajamil did not undergo atonement. Therefore, because of his sinful life, we must take him into the presence of Yamaraj for punishment. There, according to the extent of his sinful acts, he will be punished and thus purified.
Because of this, we shall take this sinner who has performed no atonement to Yamaraja, where he will be purified by punishment. Why one will be taken to Yamaraj? Why one will be punished? For one's own purification. That is the principle. Akrita Nirvesham means not having performed atonement. How can you prevent us who are taking him for purification? We are not taking him unjustly because he has done so and so sinful activities, all these things, and we are supposed to purify him. How he cannot continue like this? This is not good for him. We are actually benefiting him. We are doing good for him, like that. The Yamadutas are saying. So like that. So this is what Yamadutas justified. What they are doing is actually right according to the instructions of their master Yamaraj, and according to the principles of Vedic literatures, which are directly given by the Supreme Lord. And why are you stopping us? This is the question now. Now, in the second chapter, the Vishnu Dutas will reply to Yamadutas, and this we will discuss after a small break. After a small break, if any questions are there, we'll take after the break. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, devotees are there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So we'll continue with the second chapter. Second chapter is the most important chapter with all the philosophical discussion, the glories of holy name. There is a lot of discussion. In 2 verses, there is a huge purport, and Srila Prabhupada does not give that purport in the sequence for text number 9 and 10. In the if you see in this chapter, you don't see any purport. But at the end of the book, there is explanatory notes about this purport. And this is the biggest purport in Srila Vishnu Chakravarti's commentary. I have put all the notes, like some of them paraphrasing, some of them are reducing, etc. But that will give a nice discussion. So why we say that why bhakti is all in all, why bhakti is enough, why not other things, and such kind of questions might be there. So all such kind of questions will be answered in that discussion. So today we'll try to see up to that point, and the next week we'll continue from text number 11 onwards. So hopefully we should be able to cover up to text number 10 today. We will see. So thus in the second chapter, the arguments of the servants of Yama are refuted by the power of the Lord's name. So Ajamila repents and then ascends to Vaikuntha. So there is a nice conversation. Now Yamadutas have, Vishnudutas have posed 6 questions. The Yamadutas have answered, and they justified what they are doing is right as per the Shastra, as per their master, their controller, their lord. Everything is done. Now Vishnudutas refute the arguments given by Yamadutas, and then they establish the glories of holy name. And then they say that Alajamila is not supposed to go to hell. He is not subjected to your, he is not under your jurisdiction. So please go away. So then the Yamadutas left to Yamaloka. But here, after hearing the conversation that took place between Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, Ajamila realized what mistake he did. So understanding what mistake he did, immediately he gave up the maid servant, the children. Then he went to Haridwar. And in Haridwar for 12 years, he performed severe austerities and sincere bhakti. And at the culmination of those 12 years, a Vimana came from Vaikuntha with Nanda and Sunanda, just like Vimana came to take Dhruva Maharaj. Similarly, another Vimana came to Ajamila in Haridwar, and that Vimana took Ajamila to the abode of Lord Vishnu. That will be the discussion in chapter 2. And the Yamadutas who were defeated by Vishnudutas and went back feeling defeated, and they went and questioned Yamaraj. My dear Lord, we thought that you are the ultimate authority in this world, and the Supreme Lord is situated outside the universe. And who are these poor people came and said that, and what we are doing is wrong, it is not as per Dharma. And you told us this is Dharma, and he is still they are telling it is wrong. So please tell us what is right. So the Yamaraj will talk about the glories of Supreme Lord and Vishnudutas and the glories of Bhakti in the 3rd chapter. That's how in these 3 chapters there is a wonderful discussion about the glories of Bhakti. And among different 9 prasa Bhakti, the glories of chanting will be highlighted in these chapters. So that's how we have to see these 3 chapters. Okay, now we will move on. Any questions based on the discussion till now we had?
No, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Sri Badarayaniruvacha
श्रीबादरायणेरुवाच
Evam te Bhagavaddūta
एवं ते भगवद्दूता
Yamaduta Vibhashitam
यमदूताभिभाषितम्
Upadaryata Tan Rajan
उपधार्यात् तथान् राजन्
Pratyahurnayako
प्रत्याहुर्नयकोविदा. Shukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, the servants of Lord Vishnu are always very expert in logic and arguments. After hearing the statements of the Yamadutas, they replied as follows.
Sukadeva Goswami is saying that the servants of Lord Vishnu, expert in rules of conduct, replied as follows after hearing the statements of Yamadutas. Naya Kovida means those who speak as persons knowledgeable of Niti Shastra. Those people who are expert at what is what, they speak very authoritatively. So Vishnu also spoke like that. We know you are servants of Yama, but why do you speak such nonsense? So all of you are servants of Yama. Yamaraj is supposed to know Dharma and you speak adharma. What is this? We can understand that the authority of this king of Dharma to be of opposite quality that is expressed now. The Vishnudas are going to chastise. You people claim that you are the servants of Yamaraj and Yamaraj is the follower of Dharma, but your words are full of adharma. What is this? What kind of audacity is this? Like that, they are going to chastise the Yamadutas now. Sri Vishnuduta Ochuhu.
Sri Vishnaduta Uchu.
Aho Kashtam Dharmadrisham.
Aho Kashtam Dharmadrisham.
Adharmaha Sprushate Sabam.
Adharma Sprashate Sabam.
Yatra Danyeshu Apapeshu.
Yatra Dandesho Apapeshu.
Dando Yer Driyate Vrita.
Dando e Driyate Vita. Translation. The Vishnuduta said, Alas, how painful it is that irreligion is being introduced into an assembly where religion should be maintained. Indeed, those in charge of maintaining the religious principles are needlessly pushing a sinless, unpunishable person. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the Vishnudas are saying that this is a calamity. This is a calamity. Adharma has touched the assembly of the authorities on Dharma, where punishment is unnecessarily being given to the sinless people who are not to be punished. You are coming from Dharma Sabha. The Yamaraja's Sabha is Dharma Sabha, where Dharma is awarded properly, rewarded, and Adharma is punished. Adharmic people is punished accordingly. And today we are seeing that you people talk that you are from Dharma Sabha, but you are doing Adharma. Only a sinful person supposed to be punished. But now you are trying to punish a sinless person. What kind of Adharma is this? So Adharma has touched the assembly of the authorities of Dharma, where punishment is unnecessarily being given to the sinless people who are not to be punished. We have never heard such facts till now. What will happen to the people by such injustice? So, what is this? We understood that Yamaraj will award punishment appropriately. For dharmic people, he will award piously, and for dharmic people, he will award sinfully. So, whatever punishment or blessings and whatever it is. But we are doing the contrary. What we have heard and what we are seeing is both are different. What is this? As soon as the Vishnuta says that, Yamaduta asked, "Who are you to criticize us? What are you criticizing? What is that? What are you saying?" We are actually from Dharma assembly. We are always do activities according to Dharma. We spoke also. How can you say that we are doing Adharma? What authority and what authority you are saying this? Like that, Yamadutas questioned the Vishnutas immediately. For which the Vishnutas are going to reply. Please listen to what we say. Adharma is contaminating the assembly of those who judge Dharma. They see Dharma as Adharma in this assembly. They see Dharma as Adharma. In this assembly, punishment is allotted to persons without sin, who should thus not be punished. The assembly is displaying Adharma. We have heard that this your assembly punishes adharmic people and rewards dharmic people. But today we are seeing that an adharmic person is going to be punished. So your Dharma assembly is performing Adharma. Now they say, what do you mean by we are punishing dharmic person? Is Ajamila is a dharmic person? How can you say that? He performed sinful activities in the vicinity, in the vision of everyone. Everyone can say that Ajamila is performing sinful activities only. Can you bring one person to say that he is not doing any sinful activity? So like that, Yamaduta is saying that. So now Vishnudutas have to establish that Ajamila is not a dharmic person. He is completely a dharmic person. That they have to establish now. So now they will speak about that. Prajanam pitaro ye cha
Prajanam pitaro ye cha
shastara sadava sama
Shastara sadhava samah
yadi teshu vaishamyam
Yadi syat teshu vaishamyam
kam yanti sharanam praja.
Kam yanti sharanam praja. A king or governmental official should be so well qualified that he acts as a father, maintainer, and protector of the citizens because of affection and love. He should give the citizens good advice and instructions according to the standard scriptures and should be equal to everyone. Yamaraj does this, for he is the supreme master of justice, and so do those who follow in his footsteps. However, if such a person becomes polluted and exhibit partiality by punishing an innocent, blameless person, where will the citizens go to take shelter for their maintenance and security?
So now the Vishnu Shastra is saying that the protector of the citizens are their instructors, and they are supposed to be endowed with proper character, and they are supposed to be equal in happiness and distress. If they show opposite tendencies, where will the citizens go for protection? The personalities like Yamaraja are supposed to be endowed with all these wonderful qualities. What are those qualities? They are supposed to talk about Dharma, and they are supposed to practice Dharma, and they are supposed to be equal in happiness and distress. It is not that out of frivolous nature they yeah, मुझे इनको punish करने का punish कर दो, मुझे इनको free करने का free कर दो. Not like that. They should not act frivolously. They should speak Dharma, they should follow Dharma, they should act according to Dharma. But if they do opposite way, where will the citizens will go for protection? The people depend upon Dharmaraj, and if he is acting adharmically, then where will they take shelter? Like that, Vishnu Shastra is saying. Please listen. We have heard that your master is a protector who implements laws, possesses good qualities, and is equal to all. Why has this now become untrue? What we have heard about Yamaraj and what he is doing now through you, all of you, is exactly opposite. Why it is so? This should not be that case. Like that, the Vishnu is saying. The learned should be like a father. They should show affection to one and all. He should be an instructor of laws to teach Dharma. He should be proper in character in order to benefit others. Yadyad acharati shrestha satat eva itaro jana. When a leader practices proper conduct, people in general, the followers who are innocent, who are ignorant of Dharma, by following his footsteps, they will be able to practice Dharma properly. He should be equal, taking his own happiness and distress equally. He should be Sita Prajna. Then only you will be able to administer Dharma properly, speak Dharma properly, follow Dharma properly. Like that. If the opposite is a protector who gives suffering to the people, who, though a teacher, does not teach Dharma to his servants, who, though a proper character, does not act for everyone's benefit, and though equipped, is ignorant of others' suffering, is not expected out of him. When a protector becomes opposite to what is expected, what happens? Though he is supposed to be a teacher of Dharma, but he is teaching adharma to his servants. You servants of Yamaraj are speaking all completely adharma in the name of Dharma. Because you say your master told this to you, and your master is at fault. So he is supposed to be a proper character and does not act for everyone's benefit. He himself supposed to follow proper conduct and is acting adharmically. What is this? Though he is equipoised in happiness and distress, but is ignorant of others' suffering. So one is supposed to be equipoised for one's own suffering and happiness, so that one will be able to administer justice appropriately. If one is affected by one's own happiness and distress, one cannot cannot execute justice properly. But your Yamaraj is acting oppositely. What is this? This is a disaster for the public and intolerable for us. And this kind of action, this kind of justice mechanism is a disaster for the people in general. And we cannot tolerate, we cannot see such kind of transgression of dharma. That's why we have come to stop it. So like that, the Vishnudutas are strongly advocating what they are doing and why they are doing. And now, again, Bhagavad Gita shloka. Just like Yamaduta spoke Bhagavad Gita shloka, now Vishnudutas also speak Bhagavad Gita shloka. All able to follow, all of you? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yad yad acharati shreyam
Yadyadacharati shreyam
itaras tat tad hiyate
itaras tattadihate
tayat pramanam kurute
tayat pramanam kurute
lokas tad anuvartate.
lokas tad anuvartate. The mass of people follow the example of a leader in society and imitate his behavior. They accept as evidence whatever the leader accepts.
Whatever the excellent man performs, the others follow. The people follow whatever he sets at the standard. Otherwise, the path of dharma will be very quickly covered up. Because of the betrayal of trust, we speak of further adharma. This is expressed in second verse. So it says that the dharma sabha is touched by adharma. So what kind of adharma? This kind of adharma. Dharma is supposed to be speaker of dharma, follower of dharma, and he will execute dharma only if he is equal in both happiness and distress. But opposite is happening. That's why we are speaking out. We cannot tolerate this kind of transgression of dharma. So now they say they give a proper example. They give an example like the people in general are innocent. They are like animals. When a master takes care of the animals and one day suddenly kills the animals, it is like the animals have experienced the friendship of the master and they thought that our master will protect us for the rest of eternity. But the same master one fine day cutting their neck, cutting their throat. Same thing, Yamara is also doing something. The people who out of innocence, out of ignorance, out of proper knowledge, they are living happily under the shelter of, under the protection of Yamaraj, thinking that Yamaraj will not punish us because we are not doing any sin. But Yamaraj, for no reason, is punishing the innocent people. What is this? Like that they are telling. Yasyanke shira adaya
Yasyanke shira adaya
loka swapiti nirvrata
loka swapiti nirvata
swayam dharmam adharmam va
swayam dharmam adharmam va
nahi veda yata pashuhu
nahi veda yata pashu
साकतं नर्पितात्मानं
sakatam nya arpitatmanam
कृतमैत्रम् अचेतनम्
कृतमैत्रम अचेतनम
विश्रम्बनीयो भूतानां
विश्रम्बान्यो भूतानां
सगृणो दोग्धुमर्हति.
sagrano dudum arhati. Translation: people in general are not very advanced in knowledge by which to discriminate between religion and irreligion. The innocent, unenlightened citizen is like an ignorant animal sleeping in peace with its head on the lap of its master, faithfully believing in the master's protection. If a leader is actually kind hearted and deserves to be the object of a living entity's faith, how can he punish or kill a foolish person who has fully surrendered in good faith and friendship? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. The common people, like animals, sleeping peacefully with their heads on the lap of the master, do not know dharma and adharma because they simply follow whatever master says. So whatever coming in the parampara, whatever is coming in the family tradition, they simply follow. Because they have understood this is the way the life has to be led. So that is what they are doing. And they know that the master will protect, the Lord will protect, the devatas will protect. How can the compassionate leader, who should have the trust of all beings, give pain to those who have surrendered in friendship and have developed and have undeveloped consciousness? The people in general are innocent. They simply follow whatever is being told, having complete trust and faith on the master. And now master is only punishing them for no reason. So what is this? Why should we trust the leader? If the leader is acting like this, why should we trust him like that? Why should we trust the leader like Yamaraj? The leader should be worthy of being trusted and should be compassionate to all beings. Narpit Atmanam, he who has completely offered himself. The people in general have offered completely to their leader and they follow everything the leader says. And how come a leader who is simply doing whatever has been said by the master will be punished, will be subjected to punishment? It is not supposed to be like that. So this is how the Vishnu duthas are making strong and strong their case that Ajamila is innocent and is not supposed to be punished. Still, they are not establishing that why Ajamila is innocent. They simply touching on the philosophically that Yamaraj is supposed to be the dharmic person. He should only give justice as according to dharma and adharma. And why is he punishing Ajamila, who has no trace of adharma? Even for us also who are reading Bhagavatam, we may say that why Vishnu Tathas being like this? Adharma is sinful, he performs so many sinful activities. He is entitled to punishment. We may say, as of now. Because Vishnu Tathas has not established that Ajamila is sinless. Now in the upcoming verses, that will be established. So Yamaduta is saying that you castigate us, but what offenses have we and our master committed in taking away Ajamila to purify him? Since he has performed no atonements for over 1,000 great sins. Ajamila had performed crores of sins and he has not even performed one atonement. And how can you say that Ajamila is a dharmic person? He has no trace of adharma. He is not to be taken to Yamaloka for purification or for punishment. This is the question. Any common person would ask this question. And now Vishnu Duthas have to establish. That Ajamila had no trace of adharma. Now Vishnu Duthas are responding. I am he krita nirvesho.
I am
Ayam,
he. Okay, sorry, ma'am.
नहीं, ayam hi krita nirvesho
Janma koti amhasamapi.
janma koti amhasam api
Yad vajahara vivasho.
yad vyajahar vivasho
Nama swasti ayanam hare.
nama swasti ayanam hare. Ajamil has already atoned for all his sinful actions. Indeed, he has atoned not only for sins performed in one life, but for those performed in millions of lives. For in a helpless condition, he chanted the holy name of Narayan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense, and therefore he is now pure and eligible for liberation.
So here, for the first time, the Vishnu Duthas is saying that why Ajamila is sinless. Till now, the Yamadutas are not able to understand what you are speaking. He is a sinful person. Everyone knows. Why are you saying that he is sinless? Now they are saying how, and they more than that they say that he not even atoned for his sins. How can he be pure? Now Vishnu is saying this person has performed atonement for the sins of 10 million births. So when Yamaduta asked, he has not even atoned for one sin out of thousands of sins that he performed. Vishnu said that what to speak of one sin, what to speak of one life sins. He had atoned for millions of birth sins. It is said Janma Koti Amhasam. For 1 crore Janmas, whatever sins he might have committed, all the sins have been eradicated. Since why? How? Since he has spontaneously chanted the auspicious name of the Lord. Yad Vyajahara Vivasho Nama Swasti Ainam Hare Vivasho. Uncontrollably, spontaneously, naturally chanted the name of the Supreme Lord Narayana. So just by chanting the name of Lord Narayana, he had purified himself of 1 crore lifetimes of sinful activity. So what to speak of this life, what to speak of one sinful activity. He has certainly performed atonement, not for only for the sin of one life, but for 10,000 lives or 10 million lives. Since he has chanted the name of the Lord, even though it was done unconsciously. The Yamadutas would ask immediately, hey, my dear sir, what you are saying? He called his son's name, he did not chant Lord's name. How can you say that he chanted unconsciously? He chanted the Lord's name. Then the Vishnudas said that, though he chanted unconsciously, but he chanted anyway, he chanted Lord's name. That Lord chanting of Lord's name purified 1 crore lifetimes of sins of Ajamila. Because the Smriti says, man cannot commit as many sins as can be destroyed by the power of the Lord's name. This is what is said in Vishnu Purana. Namno hi avati shakti paha nipapa nirharane hare tavat kartum na shaknoti patakam patakina raha. A person in the material world has no capacity to perform that many sinful activities that one holy name cannot purify. So one holy name is not sufficient. One has to chant 10 holy names like that. One may say that. So one holy name has the power to nullify 1000 sins. If a person performs 10,000 sins, he has to chant 10 holy names. Not like that. A person cannot even commit X number of sinful activities that a holy name can purify. It is said one holy name which Ajamila chanted can have the potency to purify 1 crore lifetimes of sin. It is very difficult to count 1 crore lifetimes of a human being only. Then how can one count the number of sins? That is the power of holy name. A human is freed from all sins when he chants the Lord's name, even unconsciously. When they say, when the Yamaduta say that, no, no, my dear sir, that is okay. Holy name has power. But one should chant consciously. He is chanting his son's name. But Shastra says, the Vishnudas quote that, Shastra Vishnu Purana says that, even if one chants unconsciously, the holy name will do its duty. The sins flee like animals frightened of a lion. Avashenapi yannamani kirtite sarva patakai. Puman vimuchyate sadhyaha simha tristay mrugeriva. Just like when a lion comes out of his den and makes a loud sound, all the other small animals will flee away from the vicinity of lion. Like that. When Lord's name chanted consciously or unconsciously, the effect will be there. All the sins will flee away just by hearing. The lion may not shout out of hunger. It may simply shout out of happiness also. He just got sleep, nice sleep. It came out of the guha and then he just made some sound. Not intentionally that I want to attack the prey, but still all the prey will go away. So like that. Even though Ajamila did not chant the holy name of the Lord consciously, indicating to the Lord, even though he did not chant the holy name of the Lord for atoning his sinful activities, but still the holy name can act as the atoner for 1 crore lifetimes. So they say that since Ajamila chanted the Lord's holy name at the time of death, he was atoned for 1 crore lifetimes. That's all. And you cannot take him into Yamaloka. This year, for the first time, the Vishnudas have established how Ajamila is sinless. He is not only sinless for this one lifetime, he is sinless for 1 crore lifetimes also. So like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah.
Prabhuji, that means the holy name can extend someone's lifespan also, no? Because the very fact that the Yamadutas had come to take away Ajamil, that means this lifespan was over as per their calculation.
No, 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 not like that. It is clearly mentioned somewhere in the Bhagavatam that later on I think it comes. His lifespan was 100, but because of his so many sinful activities, that has been converged to 88. His sins are so many, so many, so many, and Yamaraj, out of compassion, it is better to take him out of his body, better to kill him, like the Yamadutas came. Something like that we can think of. It is said in
So
the
they
Bhagavatam later on. Hmm.
so that he will perform still more sins that way.
Yeah, like that we can see on the positive note. But normally, because it's like a person can live up to 60 years. If a person keeps smoking, what will happen? The tuberculosis or cancer will come and he will die in 40 years only.
No, I didn't get the analogy you're trying to tell.
See, if a person leads a normal life,
Yeah.
keep the principle of karma aside for some time. And normally, if a human being is supposed to live for 60 years. But if he starts smoking, he becomes chain smoker. He may die at 40 years only. 20 years gone
Yeah.
because of one's excessive smoking. He will get tuberculosis and he will get cancer and this, that. He will die untimely. Like that.
Okay. Okay. Because later when he chanted, he got the 12 years extension. No, that is
No, it is not about 12 years extension because I chanted, but because since as a result of chanting the Lord's names, all his sinful quota has been destroyed. See, for example, a person is smoking a lot and he has been attracted tuberculosis or cancer, and he was admitted in the hospital. And overnight, the effect of the smoking, everything has been taken away from his body. Can he continue to live for 20 more years or not? Now
yeah.
his body is healthy overnight.
Yeah.
He can live 20 years more happily. So like that we can see here.
And probably one more doubt is there. I don't know, like I should not commit any offense to the Holy. But here we had discussed in the past, Parikshit Maharaj said that atoning for the sin, the karmic way, it is like an elephant bath. That
Hmm.
one atones and then one immediately performs. That means that process he rejected because even after doing the atonement, one is prone to do the
Simple
sinful
activity.
actions again. So here we see that it is not that first time Ajamil had chanted Lord's name,
No,
Narayana.
no, wait. Now we don't take any questions. We will see. All these questions will be answered in the 9th and 10th verse. Whatever
Okay.
questions you have, you keep them aside because these two verses notes, they discuss all possible arguments. There may be many more also, but at least at the time of Chakravarti Pad, whatever could be the possible arguments, he addressed all of them. That time we'll see. Yeah, your question will come there.
Okay,
So
thank you.
now, having said that, see, the question is not about atonement. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra is not for atoning. The Yamadutas are asking, saying that this fellow is a Brahmana, he was supposed to lead a Brahmanical life, but he became a sinful person, and he did not even atone for even one sin also. Because that concept of the topic of atonement came, they are the Vishnudas are addressing that. Hey, my dear friends, you are telling that you did not atone for one sin just by chanting Lord's names. The atonement has automatically taken care for 1 crore lifetimes. What to speak of one lifetime? It is a what you can say, a byproduct of chanting holy name. The atonement is a byproduct of chanting holy name. So it is already taken care by default. And after said that, then the Amrita say, my dear sir, he chanted his son's name, not Lord's name. It does not matter. Even though unconsciously he did not intend to chant Lord's name, still he chanted Lord's name. Lord's name will act upon him. And now they say that. Now they say now in the next they will go further in the next verses. Not only does the chanting of Lord's name cause atonement, but is the cause of liberation. Swastyayanam. So, my dear friends, he is chanting. You may say that he did not atone. We would say that he chanted Lord's name, the atonement is taken care. So Lord's names, I mean, we said the Vishnu Purana says that one cannot even perform that many sinful activity that the holy name cannot even purify. That means a holy name can purify 1 crore lifetime sins and not even 1 crore. Unexpected lifetimes it can purify. But that is also still a byproduct. The holy name can award one liberation immediately. Then what to speak of atonement of some sinful activities? Just by chanting one holy name even once properly, even Namabhas also, one can attain liberation immediately. Then what to speak of atonement of one sinful activity? So it is said in Skanda Purana, whoever chant the 2 syllables Hari only once is fit for attaining liberation. Sakra ducharitam yena Hari riti aksharadvayam Baddha Parikarastena Mokshaya Gamanam Prati. Hare, whoever chant the 2 syllable Lord Hari's holy name, one will directly starts the path back to Godhead. Then what to speak of atonement? All these things are all a side activities, byproducts only. Like that they are quoting from Skanda Purana. And now they further say, Etenaiva hi agonosya
एतेनैव गुणोऽस्य
कृतं स्यादगनिष्कृतम्
कृतं स्यादघनिष्कृतं
यदा नारायणायेति
यदा नारायणायेति
जगाद चतुरक्षरम्.
जगाद चतुरक्षरम्. The Vishnu duthas continued. Even previously, while eating and at other times, this Ajamala would call his son, saying, "My dear Narayana, please come here." Although calling the name of his son, he nevertheless uttered the 4 syllables Narayana. Simply by chanting the name of Narayana in this way, he sufficiently atoned for the sinful reactions of millions of lives.
When he chanted the 4 syllables Narayana, atonement for the sins he committed has been accomplished. So the Yamadutas might ask question, but Ajamila did not chant with awareness that this was atonement. He called out for his son because he was afraid of us. You do not understand the truth. The Vishnu is saying that you do not understand the truth. What is the truth? Being materialistic, you do not understand. Even by calling for his son, while not seeking to make atonement of the sinner was accomplished. Even though Ajamila did not chant the holy name of the Lord for the sake of atonement, but atonement taken place already because he chanted Lord's name. The Lord's name has that potential. Just by chanting it consciously or unconsciously, it can do what it can do. Like that. Just chanting at this time for his son is the atonement for all his sins. So Vishnu was saying that because he chanted now the Lord's name Narayana, he had atoned for all his sins. Actually speaking, not now. However, previously he chanted in ungrammatical language. Oh Narayana, come here from your mother's lap and to my lap. Narayana, come here, drink this water, eat this food, eat this fruit. Come with me, we'll go to the market, something like that. Whenever Ajamila would say previously Narayana, Narayana, at the very first time only all his sins are destroyed. And he chanted Narayana's name thousands of times till now. For the last 1 year of Ajamila's son, he might have chanted thousands of times Narayana's name. So atonement took place for the first time only. When he named his son Narayana, that time only atonement took place. Afterwards, whatever he chanted, all are bonus. Not only chanting 4 syllables, but chanting Lord's name in 2 syllables or 1 syllable also destroys all sins. One no need to chant Narayana 4 syllable Lord's name. Even if one chants Hari also, one can purify oneself. Even if chants 1 syllable of Lord's name, Na or Ha, one is purified of all sins. So then, so like that they are saying. So this is the potency of Lord's holy name. The purification did not take place because Ajamila chanted now at the time of death. The purification already took place when he chanted for the first time only. Then Yamadutas might question, if that is the case, if he was already purified, Why did Ajamila still attached to this lady? And why is still living in her company? And why is still stealing and robbing the people on the roadside? And why is still performing sinful activities? So what you are saying and is contradictory to what Ajamila is doing. So that is the question. And for that question, the answer will be given in the next verses. What holy name can do? What the two syllables of holy name has the power that will be mentioned in the next two verses. Tena surapo mitradrug
Stena surapo mitradrug.
brahmaha gurutalpaga
Brahmaha gurutalpaga.
Sri Raja Pitru Gohanta
Sri Raja Pitra Gohanta.
Echa Patakino Pare
Echa patakino apare.
Sarveshamapi Agavatam
Sarveshamapi agavatam.
Idam Eva Sunishkrutam
Idam eva sunishkritam.
Nama Vyaharanam Vishnur
Nama vyaharanam Vishnur.
Vishayastad Vishayama Yatastad Vishayamati.
Yatastad vishayamati. Translation: the chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, or for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his brother, for one who slaughters cow, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection.
So, my dear Yamadutas, you people are talking of atonement. You might be knowing the Vedas might be talking about if you do this thing, you do this atonement, this atonement for this thing like that. There may be Vedas might be talking about so many atonements for so many different kinds of sins. And now we'll tell you what holy name can do. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a gold thief. For a person who steals the gold, listen, there may be atonement, but holy name is the best atonement for that gold thief. Even for a drunkard, even for a man who betrays a friend or relative, even one who steals, cheats others, the holy name is the best atonement. For one who kills a brahmana. So 1 second, just I'll receive one call.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Madhuri, Prabhuji is attending a call.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry, I have to take a call. That's why. So like that, the holy name is the best process of atonement for a person who steals gold, for a person who drinks wine, and for a person who steals one's friend or relative, and for a person who kills a brahmana, brahmaha, brahmahatya. Even brahmahatya also can be atoned by chanting holy name. For one who indulges in sex with the wife of one's guru or another superior. Guru talpaga. Guru matlab one's own spiritual master or anybody else, anybody who is our well-wisher. So basically that's why we call every woman as Mataji. So in that way. For one who kills women, even Sri Hatya, Raja Hatya, Pitru Hatya, Go Hatya, anything one does, the holy name acts as the atonement for that. And for all other sinful men. These are all some of the important and high class sinful activities. Even for other kind of low class sinful activities also, the holy name can act as the best atonement. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons attract the attention of the Supreme Lord. This is the third thing. The first thing is the sinful reactions are atoned. The second thing is one attains liberation. So by chanting the third thing, what will happen is one attracts the mind attention of the Supreme Lord. Nama Vyaharanam Vishnur Yatastad Vishayamati. Lord Vishnu will be start thinking about this person who chanted his names. This is the third benefit. The third response of chanting holy names. First one is all the sins are atoned. Second one is one attains liberation. The third one is one attracts the attention of the Supreme Lord. So this is the glory of chanting holy name. So in this connection, this is the glory of great holy names. That holy name can atone even for the greatest of sins like Brahma Hatya, Sri Hatya, Go Hatya, Raja Hatya, and Stena, Surapo, Mitradurg, and all other sinful activities are much lesser than this. Remaining all one can think of, what one can think of. So now the real potency of holy name will be established in the commentary. So we'll see as much as possible today. So now we'll discuss. The name of the Lord may destroy sins, but how can Namavasa be the atonement for thousands of grave sins, which cannot be destroyed by the thousands of 12-year vows? The Yamadutas are asking that, yes, my dear sir, the holy name can act as a atonement, perfectly right. But when it is done attentively, when it is done consciously, when it is done for atonement. But Ajamila did not do it. Ajamila neither did it consciously nor did it for atonement. So how can atonement will take place? For a atonement, there is a vrata, 12-year vrata. Just like for Arjuna, Mahabharata, if you see, when he entered into the quarters of Draupadi, when Draupadi was with Yudhishthira Maharaj, so Arjuna had to go for 12-year atonement vow, traveling in the forest, walking in the forest, pilgrimage. That is a 12-year vow of atonement for a apparent sinful activity. So Ajamila performed thousands of sinful activities, so he must perform thousands of 12-year vratas. There is simple logic. Then Vishnu say, chanting is the best atonement since it destroys the root of sin. A 12-year vow of atonement, though it destroys the effect of sin, cannot destroy the root of sin. Just like you mentioned, the Karmakanda rituals are like elephant bathing. Yes, a Karmakanda ritual which also includes a 12-year ritual, 12 years vrata, or a yajna for that matter. It was like elephant bathing. It may nullify the sinful reactions, but it cannot uproot the sinful desire. But holy name can uproot the sinful desire from the very root. That is not the only result, because from chanting the name of the Lord, the Lord's mind dwells on that person who chants. The Lord thinks, this person belongs to me, I will always protect him. This is Sri Swami's meaning of the phrase. So this is what happens by chanting the Lord's holy name. Then Yamaduta asks a question. Hearing his name being chanted and remembering Ajamila, the Lord ordered us to bring Ajamila, who was chanting his name. Oh, Vishnu was only saying. So Lord, by hearing that Ajamila chanting his name, the Lord sent us to bring Ajamila to his own abode. So we have come here. So he's supposed to come with us to Vishnu Loka. How can you take him to Yamaloka? Then how much more the Lord will remember a person who chants the Lord's name with a service attitude. That is the implication. Because Ajamila chanted Lord's holy name, indicating to his son, and Lord said, call Ajamila to me. If one really chants Lord's holy name, indicating Lord himself, then how much more Lord will become attracted to him. Like that, that is implied. To show this to the servants of Yama, the servants of Lord Vishnu said that Ajamila chanting at the time of death had destroyed all his sins. But actually, from the first time that Ajamila calls his son Narayana, out of all the times he called, all his sins had been destroyed, first time only. The rest of the chanting after that produces bhakti only. They said that for the first time when Ajamila chanted Lord's holy name, all his sins were destroyed. And all the remaining times, whatever he chanted, they are all produced bhakti. Now Yamaduta asks question. Now, my dear sir, where is bhakti seen in Ajamila? Bhakti to दिखा नहीं अभी तक वो तो पाप ही कर रहे हैं अभी भी. The past tense of yad vyajahara in text 7 also indicates that from the first time he chanted the name, all sins had been destroyed. The word Vishaya in that verse means spontaneously out of affection for the child. Ajamila's chanting was spontaneous. It was not enforced. Out of love and affection for his son, he chanted the name of the Supreme Lord. And it is considered that he chanted Lord's name spontaneously. He was as good as Raganuga Bhakta. So like that. He was not chanting Lord's name as a Vaidhi Bhakta. All of us, we were told that. So chanting holy name is Kali Yuga Dharma. It is Yuga Dharma. It is the process of purification. It will purify. It is the process of awakening Krishna Prema. We were told thousands of times. Then only we started chanting. But no one told Ajamila anybody. No one told Ajamila anything like that. Ajamila chanted as a natural inclination for his son. So his chanting is on the platform of Raganuga Bhakti. So like that. But after chanting repeatedly, Yamaduta was saying, there were repeated sins such as going to the prostitute and drinking wine. In order to destroy those sins, he had to chant at the end of his life, since there was again appearance of sin. One may say that. So because though first time when he chanted, his past sins are removed, but again he sinned. That's why he chanted again Lord's name. Is it like that? This cannot be said. Because it will be said later. Vaikunta Nama Grahanam Ashishaga Haram. Chanting the Lord's name destroys unlimited sins. No, you don't say like that. It is not that holy name only purify one's past sins only. It cannot purify one's future sins. Not like that. Holy name can purify the sins one can commit for 1 crore lifetimes. That 1 crore can be past and present and future also. Not necessarily only 1 crore past lives. Maybe half crore past lives and half crore future lives also it can purify. So like that. That is the power of holy name. The following verses also show that chanting releases one from bondage of samsara. There are so many references. All these verses say that how holy name can deliver one from this material existence. Haribhakti Vilasa says, all sins in the present, past, and in the future are quickly destroyed by chanting the name of Govinda, which is like fire. Ennama Sakrit Shravanad Pukkasopi Vimucheta Samsarat. By hearing one of your names even once, even the outcast is delivered from the material world. Even an outcast, even a Chandala, if he chants your holy names, he will immediately attain liberation. Then what to speak of atonement? Like that. And this is a verse from 5th canto 1st chapter in relation to Priyavrata Maharaj. How could Priyavrata do such a wonderful activity? So what to speak of this? Those who chant Lord's holy name can do anything and everything. And what to speak of dividing the Bhumandala into 7 divisions? So like this. Such a person, such power is not surprising from persons who have conquered the six senses by the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord. Since even an outcast becomes immediately free of bondage of karma by chanting Lord's name even once. Sakrid. And Priyath Maharaj chanted throughout his life. So why can't you do it? So by chanting Lord's holy name for such a long time, he was empowered to do such a wonderful and great activity. That is the potency of holy name. Because there is no mention of a particular time span for the effect to occur, it should be understood that by the first time there is a destruction of all sins, all desires, and as well ignorance also, which is the root cause of sin. Because only then sin will not appear in the future. So Shastra does not say that one has to chant 10,000 times the holy name, then only the holy name will act as atonement. Not like that. Shastra always say that even Sakrid, even once one chants, it will deliver one. Then what to speak of? Atonement. So that's why for the first time when Ajamila chanted, he was freed. He is not only freed of the sinful reactions, he was also freed from all desires. He is also freed from avidya. Then again the Yamaduta asks the question. If that is the case, if he is freed from avidya, if he is freed from sinful desires, if he is freed from sinful reactions, why did you do sinful activities? There should be no trace of sinful desire. Why did you do? Why did sin not leave Ajamila after chanting the first time? How could he continue to be attached to the woman and commit sin for so long if all his sins had been destroyed? If that is the case, if the first time chanting of Lord's holy name, if that purifies one's sinful reaction, sinful desire, and avidya, why Ajamila continued to associate with that lady and perform sinful activities? There is a simple question the Yamadutas ask immediately. Then the Vishnutas say that, like the karmas of the Jivan Mukta, which remain for some time simply as impressions, Ajamila's sins, which lasted till his death, were like the bites of a toothless snake and did not generate results. Whoever, sir, moreover, the Lord himself will cause continuance of sin in order that other philosophies will not be completely uprooted. The two reasons are given. For the first time, when Ajamila chanted Lord's holy name, the sinful reactions are destroyed, the sinful desires are destroyed, and the avidya is destroyed. And whatever he has done, that is all by Lord's will. And all those sinful activities are like the biting of a toothless snake. When a snake bites, when the snake has poison, when it bites, and we are affected by the bite. When the poison is removed, then even then, if the snake bites, we are not at all affected by the snake bite. That biting is as good as pricking. So now Ajamila is performing sinful activities are like that. He is already Jivan Mukta. Now whatever he does, it is only out of inertia. They don't have any effect. Those activities will not have any effect on him, will not have any results. Because Ajamila already purified for 1 crore lifetimes, out of which half crore past and half crore future. Even if Ajamila continues to perform such kind of activities for 50 crore, I mean half crore, 0.5 crore lifetimes in the future, he will not be affected only. They are all like biting of a toothless snake. Toothless snake bite. And hey, how can you say like that? Lord himself allows people to do like that so that other philosophies also will flourish. If a person starts chanting and all his sinful reactions are immediately removed and is immediately going back to Godhead, then everyone will become attracted to bhakti only. In the karma, jnana, yoga, no one will follow for them. In order to keep bhakti secret, Lord does not show the results, the power of holy name to act upon a chanter immediately. The person will continue to perform sin. The people say that, yeah, see this fellow chanting also and performing sin also. The bhakti has no effect on him. Bhakti, first they say Bhakti has no effect on him. Then they say that Bhakti has no potency only. Bhakti does not work. This fellow has become Bhakti, but devotee also, and then performs sinful activities only. Then why we need to practice Bhakti? Let us practice karma. Karma is good. Let us practice jnana. Jnana is good. Let us practice yoga. Yoga is good. Like that, people in general will continue to glorify karma, jnana, yoga. The Lord wants that. Lord wants all the process should continue. That's why Lord only makes sure that his devotees will perform sin sometime. Like that. If one were to explain the scriptural statements concerning the power of the name to be exaggerated praise of the Lord's name, then one would be committing offense. Hey, my dear friend, what are you saying? All these things is too much. नाम हरिनाम इतना इतना पावर बहुत एग्जैक्ट कर रहे हैं, बहुत स्ट्रेच कर रहे हैं. I will accept holy name can act as atonement if one chants, like we have Mahamrutyunjaya mantra. If somebody is at a critical condition, it is said that 1 lakh Mahamrutyunjaya mantra should be chanted so that one will be saved from the critical condition. So like that, holy name also must be having some number, some count, some time. You can't say like one holy name itself, past, present, future. So what is this? It is too much. One may question. Then Shastra says that it is an offense to interpret the name or think its powers are exaggeration. Hey Mabab, if you say like that, if you say that is exaggeration, it is actually an offense against holy name. You can't even imagine what kind of power the holy name has. Like that. One who takes shelter of the name at any time crosses material life by the name. One falls to hell from the offense to the name of the Lord, the friend of all beings. So, my dear friend, if you think that the power of holy name is exaggerated, you will go to hell. But by chanting the holy name of the Lord even once, one will go to Vaikuntha for the rest of eternity. So, one should be careful thinking that the holy name does not have power like that. Those most sinful of men who interpret the name of the Lord fall to hell. So, like that. The various arguments and answers are given in this notes. So, all of you are able to follow?
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, we'll stop here. I'll share the slides. All of you can read through the notes. And if some things are not clear, we will discuss next week when we meet. And then we will continue the remaining part of the chapter. So, we'll stop here. It is already more than 8:30. So, thank you very much for joining for today. And next Saturday, we will have class like this. I will be here only in Monday. We will have class online. And hopefully, Krishna willing, the next to next Saturday, I will be in Mumbai. It will be there. So, if possible, if it is convenient for all of you, you can come to temple so that we can meet.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.